Can you hear me? Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Hello and welcome to Atomic Movie Reviews Film Society. I'm your host, Atomicon Rex. Here we discuss films that have a narrative background in aliens, ghosts, robots, and monsters. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. Okay, what did I watch this time? Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. Let me put Bloodlust in because I originally thought it was just the regular. I thought it was the first Vampire Hunter D. So, just a little background in my past when it comes to these movie reviews, and anime specifically. Vampire Hunter D was the first anime I saw, and I think it was late night on TNT. This was when like cable was like a real thing, and MTV actually showed music videos. This is back then, and I just thought I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with anime at that point, but I don't think I specifically knew what anime was. I just saw a crazy cartoon with vampires, and um, he was basically Blade before I knew Blade was a vampire hunter. So it was my first. This was my first exposure to anime. Was Vampire Hunter D. I'll never forget it. So I'm just bored sitting on the couch trying to. I guess I can't say I'm flipping through channels. I'm flipping through streaming services, and I kind of give up because I really only have Prime, and so I kind of gave up. Right. So now I'm on YouTube looking at their movies, and they had the Vampire Hunter D as a movie, and so I clicked on it, and I'm thinking it's the first one. And then about 30 minutes into the movie, I realize this is not the original movie. This is a different one. And then so I go back and it says made in 2000. I'm just like, why is the anime drawn like it's made in the 1990s and 1980s? Because that's the way it was drawn. It was drawn, made like it was made in the 1980s, but it was made in 2000. So, anyways, okay. So that's just a little background into that. What are the plot and narrative predictions? I didn't have any. I just wanted to basically put something on as a background noise as I fell asleep. I thought it was the original movie, so it actually ended up not being the movie. Not the original movie, I should say. What was the genre? This is another cybernatural. Um, Cinematography. It's animation. It's anime. It's not CGI. It's hand drawn. I didn't notice any CGI elements in this show. I think it's all drawn. Um, I think it's all hand drawn. Original work. I think the what was the inspiration of the movie? I think it's a manga. Was the original inspiration of the movie? As I was doing research, I found out it was a manga. Um, when I was looking at the books, manga, it's not a book I would pick up. Like it looks like a book for the female audience, like romance novels. Like if you pick it up, it looks like a romance novel, and I guess it is a love story. And so, yeah, I think it's geared toward the female audience. I mean, he's too pretty as a vampire. Anyways, so the original work is a manga. This is part two of part one, which is an anime. So it's really not. This is just another chapter in the manga series. It's not really Vampire Hunter D Part Two. This is just another story in the whole Vampire Hunter D series. Set design, like I said, it's hand drawn. So that's real. I don't really have too much to say about that. TV tropes. What plot convictions did I notice in the film? It's basically vampire high tech. That's one of the tropes. Vampires and technology. Vampires that develop technology. and your whole kidnap princess Peach type of thing. Somebody, some dragon thing appears out of nowhere, kidnaps the princess. The noble hires somebody to go get his daughter back, and boom, the story commences. Characters. Yeah, I got a little bit to say about the characters. So the hero, which is we'll just call him D. I think that's what he calls himself. He's a vampire hunter. He's super OP. Like, he did lose one battle, but he's just super OP. I guess his daddy's Dracula, so his daddy had a baby by somebody else, and so he's a half breed. The villain Carmilla. I thought so when I was watching this, I was like, no, they stole her from Castlevania Nocturne, right? But now that I'm looking at the date of this movie, I think they stole the Vampire Queen from Nocturne from Carmilla and Vampire Hunter D. They're the same character. They look the same, they're drawn the same, they have basically the same motives. But she's a vampire queen, and she's pretty cool. I actually like the whole because she was still a ghost. Like, she's trying to get her body back, and her body is entombed. So she's basically still like a spirit trying to get blood into her body. So it was a neat twist on how they did that. She wasn't a vampire yet. I mean, she's a vampire, but her soul's in one place and her body's in another place. So it's really about her soul's trying to get blood into the body of her corpse. I thought that was kind of unique. The sidekick is his right hand man. He has this Grimace hand character that he basically has like a black hole sun superpower. But he's his sidekick. He's the one who's always giving him an advice and giving him a hard time and all of that. But he's like this parasite that's connected to his hand. The love interest. There's another group of vampire hunters chasing the kidnapped princess. And so one of his love interests is part of that group, that group of misfits. It was pretty cool. It was all right. It was all right. I liked it. The damsel in distress, that's the kidnapped princess, kidnapped nobility. Weapons. It's basically swords and guns. Swords, guns, a little bit of magic. Nothing. I didn't really. There were a lot of crucifix symbolism, but I didn't notice like silver bullets, or that wasn't like a running theme. But it's vampire high tech, so it's just laser beams and all kinds of nonsense. Location. It's an apocalyptic future. I'm not sure if it's in a like paced in the future or the past, but it's basically a steampunk narrative. It has a steampunk vibe look to it. It's animation, so it's all voice acting. I bought it all. I like the animation. I like the voices. I like the dub. Like, the dub worked for me. Sometimes the dubs don't, but the dub worked in this one. Standout character was the Bile Shadow guy. It made me think a lot about Skinwalker Ranch. What do I mean? What I mean by that? Okay, so I was reading the book Skinwalker Ranch. Well, Hunt for the Skinwalker Ranch. And there's this part where they're on this guy's property, and they're looking out yonder, and what they seem to think is an RV. Okay, and it has two red lights. Okay, so that's why they think it's an RV, but it's this square, rectangular shadow. All right, with two red lights. But where it's at, they don't even know how the RV got there, because where it's located, it's like down in a valley. You need a 4x4 to get there. Okay. So how they got an RV down there, they don't even know. So the guy goes down there to check it out, and then this RV starts moving away from them. And then it starts skywalking. Now, what I mean by skywalking, it doesn't take flight. It climbs up the sky and starts accelerating upward. Okay, and as they're watching this shadow thing climb up the sky, the eyes, well, the red lights move from behind the RV to the front. Okay, so the two red dots are like moving inside of the shadow thing, right? So I'm watching this movie, and they're chasing Dracula, and Dracula's in his carriage or whatever, right? So they go into the cave, and they see the carriage just sitting there. So they all attack the carriage, and then poof, like it's not a carriage, it's just basically a cape, right? And so the cape kind of descends to the ground and just slightly falls on the ground, okay? And then a boom, a monster comes out the cake, but it's like a shadow monster, like it like lives in the shadow. Its powers are shadow based, so as long as there's a shadow around, it could jump into the shadow, pin you to the shadow, hit you, like teleport through the shadows. So they have to get it away from, they have to get into an area where there's no shadow in order to defeat it. So that was the standout character. It made me think of Skinwalker Ranch, because when the people at Skinwalker Ranch were engaging with this phenomenon, okay, like they hid from it and it couldn't find it. And so that told them that it's not like omnipresent. Like it doesn't know, it can't see through walls, or doesn't know exactly where you are. Like you can hide from these things. And so there, it's just something to think about. It was a standout character. It made me think of Skinwalker Ranch. And I think there might be a connection between a bio shadow depicted in Vampire Hunter D and all of these crazy anime movies and what may be going on in Utah, more specifically the Skinwalker Ranch. Okay, moving on. Rating system. I didn't stream it. Like it was on YouTube, so I guess it was a form of streaming, but it's on YouTube, so it was free. You don't have to pay for it. I watched it. You have to deal with it because it's on YouTube, so there's like a block, like a filter on it. But after a while, you notice it and it'll just go away. I do recommend you seeing it. Summary. Would I buy it? I don't know, because I wouldn't really buy anime. Back in the days when I was like going to Hastings in the mall, an anime movie was like $30. Okay, would I buy this? No, I wouldn't buy that. And it's just because I'm really not into anime. But is it a good movie? Maybe you want to, if you're into anime, add it to your collection. Sure, I would definitely do that. It's a solid movie. It's one of the best ones. Like I was actually surprised at how good this movie was compared to what they've been releasing when it comes to anime. Like Castlevania was like the last good anime I saw, and it's been years since I've seen anything even remotely like that. But then again, I'm not really into anime, so take it with a grain of salt. All right. I don't know why I have this on Prime, because I didn't see it on Prime. I saw it on YouTube, so we're gonna delete that. This would be a dope video game, RPG game, especially with the Misfits. They all have different, powers, and I thought it would be a good video game to play. RPG game, not like the old Castlevania games, nothing like that. Just a straight tactical RPG game. Summary recommendations. Okay, it's an anime. It's called Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. I think it's part 2, but I'm not really sure. Don't quote me on that. I found it on YouTube. It's a cybernatural movie. Basically, it has a steampunk motif, and that's really it. Atomicon Rex does recommend this bad boy. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.